Live from the Canadian capital, this is the GBN television news. GBN, covering you from the Grenadine Island chain to Brooklyn, New York, via the World Wide Web on www.gbn.gd.
The news headlines is brought to you compliments GUT Credit Union.
I'm reaching my dreams with GUT. They're the ones for me. I'm reaching my dreams with GUT. They're the ones for me. Since 1983, they've been serving the country, and we like all their financing, giving the people what they want, what they need, what they love. Come and join the family that's here for you all the way, from birth to graduation, your first job to your home and your car through your golden years.
The GT Credit Union has been actively supporting nation building through its many sponsorships and programs, including financial literacy quiz, Pass the Torch Calypso program, junior cooperatives in secondary schools, CPEA, and the TAMCC grants. The credit union has helped many people make their dreams come true. Let them help you with yours. You don't have to be a teacher to be a member. So what are you waiting for?
GUT Credit Union, it's where you belong.
This is the GBN television news for Tuesday, February 16th, 2021. I'm Chrislyn, Lashington. In the headlines, economist shares grim projection on price increase for imported commodities due to COVID-19. Members of Parliament pay tribute to the life of Elvin G. Nimrod, with an emotional Prime Minister shedding a tear. Shark captured and killed on Dr. Groom's Beach in the south of mainland Grenada. We meet Rodel Paul, a young man from St. Patrick that is creating a buzz with his magical stunts. In Around the Globe, the United Nations warns Myanmar military of severe consequences if it responds harshly to the protest. Coming up in sports, Sri Lanka's multi-format West Indies tour to begin on March 3rd, all played in Antigua, while social media manager Brave Bison announced partnership with Hero CPL. Details right after this message.
Get high making money moves with the NLA's new Aces High Scratch game with 4 chances to win. Beat the dealer's card to win the prize shown. Reveal an A symbol. And just like that, you are automatically a winner. Scratch away to win the top prize of $10,000. Win easy with Scratch. Must be 18 or older to play.
Good evening. This is news at 7. The newly appointed increase in prices on all products manufactured by Caribbean Agro is said to place a serious financial impact on not just farmers, but consumers, as the price of chicken per pound and eggs will also increase. While many are expressing their grievances on the matter, the question asked is, why is this increase happening now? A question economist Dr. Patrick Twine answers in this Rena Pierre report.
Consumers are feeling the effect of the price increase implemented by Caribbean Agro on Monday, but a regional consultant and economist is warning that this is just the beginning. The price of animal feed and flour went up by 6 to 16%. Due to the increase, the Grenada Association of Poultry Producers also placed an increase in the price of local wholesale chicken and eggs from February 15th. Many consumers are asking the question, why is the increase happening now? Dr. Patrick Twine says the answer to that is COVID-19.
What we are seeing is, in fact, the market-induced effects of COVID in various ways. Countries such as China are claiming that they have drawn down on their stocks of soya, corn, and in some instances wheat, but particularly soya and corn, which are big ingredients in feed, during the last 12 months. And what they're doing now is building back their stock. So they're buying more, and with their increased purchasing, the markets become, if you wish, shorted, and the price is going up. I think the third reason is that you are seeing some movement up in shipping prices as well. And the fourth one is that it is claimed that there's some weather-induced effects taking place in some countries, such as the countries in South America.
The economist explains that all of the factors have led to a 40 to 60% increase in corn and soya, which affects all Caribbean countries. He explains that the situation is predicted to get worse.
In the Caribbean, for instance, in Trinidad and Tobago, many of the entities are not giving you prices going forward. You can't forward buy anymore. You can't buy 1,000 bags of feed to be delivered 3 months from now because they're concerned about where the prices will go. And what's happened is that many firms, enable mills, have been able to not pass on the increase yet because they're using from the old stock. But many of them, as the new stock comes into manufacture, are forced to use it. So that is really where the market is now. It's very turbulent, and unfortunately, there is no good news. There is an expectation that this could get worse, depending on what happens with the Chinese purchasing patterns, and hopefully other countries don't begin doing the same thing to mitigate against further price increases later.
Dr. Antoine warns that this can create a serious dent in the poultry industry in Grenada.
So for the farmers, it's not going to be good news because as prices goes up, you know what happens to demand. Demand comes down. The price goes up, you buy less. So they're going to be faced with a little bit of a challenge. Depending on what happens, you're going to have the industry shaking itself out, meaning that some people are going to find it difficult to continue producing poultry because as prices goes up, if some people can sustain that and not pass it on, they will. Those that can't will be forced to do so. So we have to look at that to make sure that our small and vulnerable producers, the smaller farmers, are able to stay in production, particularly now where unemployment is an issue. So this is a real issue that is not just an agriculture issue. This is a deep issue that the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Trade needs to get involved with.
Patrick Antoine was a guest on the GBN Good Morning show on Tuesday. For GBN News, I am Rena Pear reporting.
What has been the true reality of the COVID impact on the workforce, especially in the Grenadian context? There have been intensified labor disputes between unions and employers and a hike in unemployment, while the government has experienced revenue shortages due to decreased tax collection. The tourism and accommodation industry is facing a further closure of entities in June, with NIS contributions in decline. Prospective effects on union dues collection and overall concerns. GBN's Jared Joseph takes an in-depth look at the impact of COVID-19.
They are tucked away in the nooks and crannies of Grenada, waiting to be told. GBN digs deep, uncovers the untold stories. We are GBN, covering Grenada's untold stories.
Tentative signs of recovery are emerging in global labor markets following unprecedented disruption in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the latest report from the International Labour Organization. However, the same cannot be said about Grenada, as the situation has gotten worse to the point of companies facing liquidation as high debt loads continue to severely affect businesses.
So there is going to be a significant outfall or fallout by June of this year if some of these issues are not addressed. So I know the Chamber and the GHTA is going to try and do a joint paper and approach the government to see what assistance can be garnered for these companies that are facing these dire issues.
Private sector Senator Christopher Diali says this is especially so for companies within the tourism industry as well as the entertainment industry. New annual estimates in the 7th edition of the ILO Monitor COVID-19 and the World of Work confirm the massive impact that labor markets suffered in 2020. The latest figures show that 8.8% of global working hours were lost for the whole of last year, equivalent equivalent to 255 million full-time jobs. This is approximately 4 times greater than the number lost during the 2009 global financial crisis. According to the report, looking at unemployment alone drastically understates the impact of COVID-19 on the labor market. These massive losses resulted in an 8.3% decline in global labor income, equivalent to US $3.7 trillion or 4.4% of global gross domestic product. According to the Central Statistic Office in the Ministry of Finance, unemployment levels for Grenada stood at 28.4% in the second quarter of 2020, drastically increasing from 15.7% in the same period in 2019. The labor force survey equates the unemployment percentage to 14,236 people, with the most being females at 7,658 and males at 6,578. On July 13, 2020, the government announced more than 7,000 Grenadians had benefited from its economic stimulus package. Payroll support to businesses, income support to self-employed persons, and an unemployment benefit were offered within the package. At that time in July, government had expended more than 17 million on the various measures in the stimulus package. According to the Prime Minister's press secretary, income and payroll support alone in 2020 amounted to 22.7 million. President of the Trade Union Council, Andrew Lewis, says a period of uncertainty remains, however, has commended the resilience of the people.
So, for instance, there are a group of workers who enjoyed or received the unemployment benefit, small as it was better than nothing. There are workplaces that has gone into negotiations and discussions with the union to hold on to jobs, preservations of jobs, with certain compromises been made in relation to benefits in exchange for holding on to jobs.
The National Insurance Scheme was also brought into the fray, offering a temporary unemployment benefits program. NIS in early January then announced a sickness benefit claim for individuals in quarantine.
The national insurance laws makes allowances for persons who are in contact or may deem to be a carrier of an infectious disease where they have to be quarantined, that in that situation they can claim. So in the case of COVID, if you are required to quarantine or you are required to self-isolate, in which case you are not required to see the doctor, you can still claim for a sickness benefit.
Despite the 2021 budget estimating economic growth to decline by 12.2%, Finance Minister Gregory Bowen had estimated unemployment to reach 20% by year-end as some sectors normalize. However, some businesses have never recovered, several hotels have remained closed, and even now livelihoods are under threat, with the entertainment industry and nightlife under siege. Sanders was then affected by Grenada's first COVID-19 cluster, with hundreds of workers again sent home. In light of ongoing retrenchments, rotation, and sending workers home without a salary, the TUC president was in high praise for one employer.
St. George's University, a private sector company. This is not the government of Grenada. A private sector company that has not sent any one worker home, that has not taken any annual vacation leave from any worker. And the workers continue to enjoy their benefits. It's a private sector company. And we all know the impact of the pandemic on SGU, or St. George's University.
St. George's University is the single largest employer in the private sector and second to only the government in the country. Union fees have also been affected, and Lewis says the role of the unions is now more crucial than ever before, while they ensure a balance and workers are not disadvantaged.
Where on the one hand, we are balancing the psychological impact on workers. There have been more challenges in relation to health and safety. So the labor movement have had to up its game in relation to health and safety. Health and safety at the workplace, as it relates to ensuring that the workplaces follow the COVID protocols as called for by the Ministry of Health, ensuring that the workers themselves, and in particular, carry out the protocols that have been called for by the Ministry of Health.
The coronavirus crisis cost the global tourism sector US $1.3 trillion in lost revenue in 2020 as the number of people traveling plunged, with the United Nations calling it the worst year in tourism history. Revenue loss last year amounted to more than 11 times the loss recorded during the 2009 global economic crisis, the Madrid-based World Tourism Organization said in a statement, warning that between 100 and 120 million direct tourism jobs were at risk. Revenue collection by way of taxes has also been affected, notably income tax from workers, which fell by $16.3 million or 10.8% in 2020 when compared to 2029. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
With nightclubs and entertainment centers closed due to COVID-19 restrictions, locals are now tapping in on exploring more than before. Weekends are overwhelmed with organized bus tours, especially to the northern part of Grenada. GBN News crew was out and about on the weekend. Chrislyn John fills us in on what they found.
They are tucked away in the nooks and crannies of Grenada, waiting to be told. GBN digs deep, uncovers the untold stories. We are GBN, covering Grenada's untold stories.
Some of the island's scenic spots that were underutilized by islanders have now become prime hotspots. Nestled in the north of the island in St. Patrick is the Levera Sulphur Spring, originally called Shambo Spring, part of the Shambo estate. This pristine piece of nature offers total rejuvenation of mind and body. That's according to people who have had such experience. Locals are calling on the Ministry of Tourism to come on board to develop the area that has been identified as a tourist attraction site. Denard Mitchell reminisces on his childhood days visiting the spring. He describes it as unfortunate that tourism officials seem to not realize the importance and beauty of this site.
Generally, people are afraid of this place because of the mystery of the boiling process that goes on in the water. You know, the always bubbling process. So that's how we come to call it the boiling spring. Nowadays you hear people say the sulphur spring. The sulphur become more significant now because people come to recognize the therapeutic aspect of it. Originally, it was the Baptist and Shango people who used to be using that place that much. Using the significance of the place, he decided to develop this place. And it was a very good initiative from
Anthony Benjamin is the man behind the enhancement and maintenance of the areas surrounding the pond for the past 16 years, taking it from nothing to something. He claims that the ministry has not been forthcoming with any assistance. However, he is thankful for the kind folks that have come on board.
My community first, because this year is not just about me. This is a community level base, because this place cannot run just like by me, because I cannot be a cook, I cannot be a bartender, I cannot be the person taking care of this, I cannot be the person taking care of the toilet, which is me who I do all that presently. But I'm getting older, so I don't know what happens in the near future. But the thing I would like, if tourism come on board and other people who want to sponsor or want to come on board with us to get this in order. Because this is not just a sulphur spring with people. This is for therapy.
Benjamin says part of the development is to promote and showcase to visitors the local products, arts and craft of the people in St. Patrick. Lewin John also provides an on-site service using materials from the pond that she says has healing properties for several ailments.
The mud, which is sulfuric volcanic mud, we used on people that takes off any dry skin, any lota, any rash, many different complaints. Eczema, psoriasis, skin rash, sunburns. You come here and you use the mud. Splendid. You get a good treatment from the mud. Or since after the COVID, say, visitors like foreigners coming in here, it's is on a down low. But basically right now I notice the locals are embracing what we have, because I always says to them, don't let people come from overseas and enjoy what we have here.
One visitor shares his experience.
Here because it's an opportunity for me to rejuvenate, to restore, to ease the tensions in my body and to assimilate some sense of balance, so that I can go back out for another 2 weeks. So I come here every 2 weeks. I bring my mom with me as well, most of the time, because an aspect of this area is what the Creator gives us for absolutely free.
Chrislyn, GBN News.
Weeks after the Fisheries Division issued a statement advising vigilance when venturing out to sea due to an increase in shark sightings around neighboring islands, Grenada recorded its first reported shark sighting and capture. Details in this report.
A shark was sighted and captured on Dr. Groom's Beach in the south of the island on Tuesday. Footage reached GBN at about midday of the shark swimming near the shore before it was captured by locals in the area. The men on the scene proceeded to drag the shark from the water before killing it and ultimately shared its parts with onlookers. A local fisherman and diver who is familiar with the area, Jamil Bridgman, said countless times there have been shark sightings in that area, referring to the killing of the shark as unnecessary. Bridgman says sharks seldom prove to be a danger to swimmers.
Myself and other fishermen, we dive that water almost every day. We even go out at night too. We always see sharks there. Even when I was working at Sandals, we always take the guests out at those reefs. And the guests, they enjoy looking at the sharks and stuff. To be honest, I think that was unnecessary kill, because the shark was going along its way. It almost reached turning point, and just beyond the point, we have a reef down there where it's called Shark Reef. That's where we see most of the sharks. Well, sharks don't really attack anyone just like that. You have to be in the area doing something like maybe spearfishing or so, and you have a lot of freshness in the water, like blood and stuff. So if you're on shore and you see the shark, just leave it, let it go away, because it would not do anyone anything. They just come, they see you, and they swim away like any other fish.
Recently, in an interview with GBN, the Marine Protected Areas Coordinator at the Fisheries Division, Orlando Harvey, said sharks are critically important to the marine environment in general, as they are essentially the cleaners of the ocean and marine ecosystem. Responding to shark slayings on neighboring islands, he said fear or misunderstanding may have a role to play in the capacity to care for the creatures.
I'm a little bit concerned about that in some regards. As you rightfully said, there's a lot of fear associated with sharks. People who don't interact with the marine environment as much as maybe I do would tend to have maybe a fear of sharks, or if you come in contact with a shark, they think that the only thing a shark can do is kill you. But we've never had, that I could recall, definitely in my lifetime, anyone being severely injured by a shark or even killed by a shark in Grenadian waters. In most of the cases where we have incidences of sharks interacting with persons are typically people who spearfishing and they have blood in the water. They have something that attracts the shark to them, and they may have an encounter with it, but it's never been really severe or life-threatening. So I think there's nothing really for people to be overly concerned or overly fearful of with regards to a typical shark that we would have in our waters. So I'm a little bit concerned that we would have people going out there and actually hunt, actively trying to fish sharks. Grenada doesn't have a fishery for sharks. It's not something that we target. It's not a species we target. We do have some incidental capture where you set a line for something else and you may catch a shark. And in Grenada, we do pretty much land everything we catch, so we do have incidences like those.
In the Caribbean, shark populations have been decimated along a number of fronts due to a loss of reef habitat and health. In January, the Fisheries Division released a statement advising seafarers to be vigilant when venturing out to sea as a result of shark sightings around neighboring islands. The public is reminded to be cautious when going to the various beaches. For GBN News, Beverly Telesford.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Sports, Culture and the Arts, Fisheries and Cooperatives is once again advising the general public, visitors and fisherfolk to exercise extreme caution when venturing out to sea. They are advising persons that a shark was sighted and caught within the marine environment of Dr. Groom's Beach in St. George on February 16, 2021. The shark, which appears to be 12 feet long, has been identified by marine biologists to be that of the mako shark species. The shark appears to have beached itself for unknown reasons. However, there have been similar occurrences observed with these oceanic shark species in neighboring islands of St. Kitts and Nevis and Dominica in recent months. The general public is advised to exercise the following. Do not panic. Be vigilant while bathing on beaches and exit the water immediately if a shark is seen in the water. Refrain from catching or removing from the water any shark that is beached, and refrain from consuming the meat from a beached shark as the reason for beaching is unknown. The Ministry of Sports, Culture and the Arts, Fisheries and Cooperatives urges all seafarers and the general public to note well the points listed above and report any sightings of sharks to the Fisheries Division via telephone 440-3814 and the Coast Guard at 444-1931 or 444-1932. This is News at 7. Coming up, it's not often you may get to see the Prime Minister in such a sorrowful mood as members of Parliament pay tribute to the life of former government minister, Mr. Elvin Nimrod. Stay with us.
There's a reason we have been here to serve you for the past 40 years. A reason we have continued to grow. A reason we have continued to celebrate. That reason is you. We have been here to help you plan for your future and here to help you celebrate your achievements. We continue to be here, even when the future seems unclear, because one thing is certain, you're the reason we care.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
Every action we take impacts the lives of others around us. The Grenneck Community Partnership Initiative, GCPI, has been working with Grenadian organizations to impact communities directly. Giving back to communities we serve is fundamental to the way we do business. And every year, more lives are touched across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petite Martinique. In education, sports, health, infrastructure, social services, and beyond.
Running low on groceries? Why not visit realvalueiga.com and experience our new online shopping platform. Place your order, then go out and enjoy your day to spend more time with friends and family. Delivery available within select locations or in-store pickup available. Sounds simple, right? It is. Stress less, live more with Real Value IGA online store, where good food begins.
When I need shelter, warmth, security, I know you'll be there. Something in these moments lets me know you care. Maybe the way you shield me, maybe it's your smiles and the way you tell me it's okay to try. Now I'm invincible. I can pack my sack. I can take the long road, 'cause it's okay to look back if I am scared. I know you're there. Arise, together there's no limit to what we can do. Arise, with no wings, fly. Arise, and we're so high, enjoy the view. Arise, look, no wings, fly.
This is Ariza, your financial freedom, your future.
What are you looking for? Top quality copy paper, linen paper, bond paper maybe, or lunch bags, maybe a gift set, or maybe you're just not sure? Then visit us today. K&R Bookstore. We are so much more than your regular bookstore. Visit us at the corner of Scotch and Young Street, or give us a call 420-5307 or 321-3500. K&R Bookstore. Convenience, quality, excellent prices.
GBN leads, the others follow. This segment is brought to you by Republic Bank.
There's a reason we have been here to serve you for the past 40 years. A reason we have continued to grow. A reason we have continued to celebrate. That reason is you. We have been here to help you plan for your future and here to help you celebrate your achievements. We continue to be here, even when the future seems unclear. Because one thing is certain, you're the reason we care.
Republic Bank, we're the one for you.
The longest-serving members in the Parliament of Grenada who sat together with the late Elvin Nimrod paid tribute to the parliamentarian on Tuesday. Nimrod served for 19 years along with Ministers Clarice Modeste Kerwin, Anthony Boson, Gregory Bowen, and Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell. Gerard Joseph has the details.
We have lost a friend.
Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell shed tears as he remembered his colleague, former deputy and parliamentarian Elvin Nimrod. He also left the joint session with this message.
In this time, make no enemies. I repeat, Nimrod did not leave enemies. I will not leave enemies.
Prime Minister Mitchell highlights the achievements of Nimrod in service to Carriacou and Petite Martinique.
Carriacou didn't have roads, telephone, electricity. What a joke. Only certain parts. Nimrod, under his leadership, 1999 to 2003, modernized Carriacou and Petite Martinique. All the roads through all the different sections that you...
Longest-serving female parliamentarian Clarice Modeste Kerwin says her late colleague flourished in times of adversity.
And that is where he was at his best. So when there were 4 of us, we were like 15. And those who are in this honorable house who were part of the government at the time, they knew that they had unleashed a lion when they lost the election. It's funny how you lose, how you win, but you lose in the house every time Nimrod stood up. And of course, with Dr. the Right Honorable Keith Mitchell and me and Brother Bola backing up, the 4 of us really put up a battle.
She fondly remembers Nimrod coming fully prepared to Parliament and defending the new National Party in the House of Representatives like no other.
And I also remember subsequently when he made a presentation and Prime Minister said, but I didn't hear the fight. He said, but Prime Minister, there's nothing to fight for. We have 15. And that was the man. He quieted down when he didn't need to fight. But when you needed a defender, when you needed a backer and a supporter, Elvin George Nimrod was the man to be there behind you.
Elvin Nimrod has been lauded for his involvement in re-establishing relations with the People's Republic of China as the then Foreign Minister. After battling a period of illness, former government minister Mr. Elvin Nimrod passed away on Saturday, February 6th in the United States, one day before the country celebrated its 47th anniversary of independence. Mr. Nimrod will be granted an official funeral, the date for which is not yet announced. I am Gerard Joseph for GBN News.
Would you call him a local magician? Well, after a few performances, you'll decide. Chrislyn John met an interesting young man on the weekend who wants to show us what he is capable of using cards.
They are tucked away in the nooks and crannies of Grenada, waiting to be told. GBN digs deep, uncovers the untold stories. We are GBN, covering Grenada's untold stories.
One may only get to see such acts on America and Britain Got Talent. However, Grenada Got Talent. Meet Rodel Paul, a young man from St. Patrick that is creating a buzz with his magical stunts. Rodel is a participant in the Empower program. In an exclusive interview with GBN, he said he started this intriguing talent at the age of 14. Here's what drew his interest.
You had this guy who I got my inspiration from, a Jamaican. He used to always pass by to and show us little tricks, but he never really hold me. I want to always catching him what he's doing. So now from then on, I start get interested in it and doing it for my family, and I realize all the trick in them, and from there I just develop more tricks on my own.
The young chap says he had a few shows lined up. However, that was hindered with the onset of the COVID-19 pandemic. He expressed his desire to build on his talent.
Show to do, well, he was Fat Man George who set me up on a show to do in Carriacou for Mother's Day. That was last year, but just the coronavirus postponed, well, not postponed, it canceled, so never really get the opportunity to do any shows. But I went on Grenada Top Talent too. Heard about that, right? Yeah. But same thing with the coronavirus, squash. So I do coin tricks as well, but so far it's more cards I do it with. But as years go by, I'll get better once I, stick to it, and I really intend to do in life.
Pulling a card from the pack, which he does not see, and placing it back among the lot, see what happens. GBN zoomed in on a few of his performances, which left us in awe.
I'll make sure everybody see the camera. Okay, ready? Mm-hmm. So now what to do? Just slide it anywhere of your choice. So you slide it right here. So I'm going to try and pull out your card from on top by one snap. This it? Now let's try again. Is this it? Now, well, the 3 and the ace going to help the whole deck turn over, and your card is the only one of us stay fist up by like a shit. Snap. Let's skin it open. Whole deck turn over. And your card is the only one but stay fist up, which is usually like that. Press right here. See on the right. Go scratch it again. Just right back here. Just rub. Ready to you see one side, you see another card.
Chrislyn John, GBN News.
Wow. Minister for Climate Resilience and the Environment, Senator Simon Steele, says the Grenada Solid Waste Management Authority is now equipped with a drone that can capture thermal images as a means of monitoring the fire at the Perseverance dumping site. The senator says that at present they have reached almost 100% in extinguishing all the fires on the site.
So the fire has now been, is now almost extinguished. I said 1 or 2 hotspots. Solid Waste are monitoring the site. They now have a drone where they're able to get thermal images to be able to identify where those hotspots are, so that they can surgically address those. So that issue is now more or less under full control. But the long-term solution is the closure of that site.
Once the fire is completely extinguished, Steele says that their focus will start on the permanent closure and capping of the cell through funding from the Caribbean Development Bank. This is expected to start in March 2021. The senator also spoke of the Integrated Solid Waste Plan, which is also funded by the CDB.
There is the Integrated Solid Waste Management Plan, which We also have funding from the Caribbean Development Bank in the tune of 12 million EC dollars. And that is for, as well as the closing of the old dump site, is the creation of a new managed landfill cell. So that is going to provide us with disposal capacity for the period ahead of us. But it's not just about creating a new cell and just dumping more garbage into it. There is an integrated approach to the management of the waste that goes in there.
And now we turn our attention to what has been creating a buzz on social media. Trelana Charles has been looking around the platforms.
This is Social Buzz, where we shine a light on the thoughts and concerns of our online audience. The hearing for the case in which Evan Smith was allegedly assaulted by an Irish couple in Fort Judy last June took place yesterday. However, the hearing was once again adjourned due to case files not being ready by the prosecution. Wife of the complainant, Nicole Smith, spoke about the lack of preparation by the RGPF.
I'm calling on the commissioner to hear such this is a disrespect to us as the Smith family, that every time you go to the court, they are not prepared. It's either the file is not bring to them, it is, it's just slipping through the crack. And this is not acceptable. It was wrong. And to see that over a year, and the police force who was saying that they are representing us, I don't think they're doing the right job, so I think I have to do what I have to do. I will do what I have to do. If the police cannot represent me, and this shows.
Our online audience were quick to share their views on the situation. Lucianne commented, "Keep fighting for justice, and I hope they don't continue to put it off till eventually they drop it." Sami added, "Social injustice happens everywhere. It's sad to see that white supremacy is happening in our country. The Smiths need a lawyer to fight on their behalf, otherwise they will be doing this in vain." Kester commented, "Miss Smith can't go to court without a lawyer in a matter like this when the other party from day one had a lawyer. The police that's telling you no need for one, from there, you should know something is going wrong already. And the state doesn't provide lawyers for people in matters like these. So go find one, please." And Holly commented, "They're doing it deliberately, and after a while it will be quietly dismissed. Is anyone actually surprised? Non-black foreigners know they're the ones with the rights in Grenada. If this was Ireland, they wouldn't have put a finger on the man because they wouldn't have gotten away with it. They would have ended up with criminal records and probably be jailed for actual bodily harm." That's it for tonight's Social Buzz. If you would like to have your thoughts and concerns shared, be sure to comment on GBN's Facebook page.
From the thought process to the visual impact, let's take a peek through the GBN EyeSaw lens.
A good eye captures all. GBN EyeSaw is brought to you by ClearVision.
You know us, but we knew. You feel at home with every visit. An experienced team offering personalized courtier service and trendy brand name lifestyle products. We're changing the vision care landscape one customer at a time. ClearVision Eye Center. People and technology coming together to help you see the world with a clearer vision.
Tonight's EyeSaw comes from a concerned citizen who noticed a potential hazard on a wall on Yonge Street. The structure, in close proximity to where traffic officials carry out their duties, continues to crack as the shrubs growing from the top of the wall continue to grow. Our reporter is concerned and hopes the relevant authorities will address what he deems a risk to motorists and pedestrians. Send us your photo and video submissions via WhatsApp on 405-3052 or our other social media platforms.
Still ahead, work commences on Grenada's first garment production facility in Pearls, St. Andrew. This is news at 7.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
You want a hand sanitizer to do 3 things: kill germs, be gentle, and to go where you go. You can get all of that in our hand sanitizer. Hard on germs, gentle on hands, affordable. Remember, hand sanitizers contain alcohol. Keep away from heat and flames and avoid contact with eyes. Available at retailers island-wide.
A message by the Grenada Distillers Limited.
There is nothing good about jail. I don't want to be here.
My father told me that as far as he was concerned, I could stay in the home forever.
Our children deserve a chance for change. Children make mistakes, and child justice reform can help everyone to address these mistakes appropriately. Instead of sending a child to adult prison, let us give them alternative sentencing. We must divert our children from the court system through a holistic and systematic approach to addressing their offense and their road to rehabilitation. Rehabilitation helps child offenders to grow, change, learn from mistakes, accept responsibility, and make better choices. Reintegration of child offenders into the community after rehabilitation benefits the child, the family, and the community with a more productive citizen. Join the movement to give our children a chance for change. This message is brought to you by the USAID OECS Juvenile Justice Reform Project 2, funded by the United States Agency for International Development. For more information, log on to oecs.org/JJRP.
Tropical shipping is fast and reliable. Always on time, safe and affordable. Friendly staff here to connect you. Tropical worldwide, you must get you. Shop online and you get it on time. Hassle free to meet your deadline. Consolidate any size, any load with tropical shipping, so we ship everything. I can't wait to ship with tropical. I can't wait. No package too big, too small. I cannot wait to ship with tropical. No package too big, too small. Just ship with tropical.
Local agents, George F. Huggins and Company, Grenada Limited. Telephone number 440-8787 or visit our website at www.tropical.com. Email us at grenadasales@tropical.com. Tropical Shipping, committed to island life.
How going on, boy?
Hey, good old things.
Hey, Daisy.
Yeah.
Boy, in line, boy. Your house looking a real good day.
Boy, it's thanks to the hard-working and professional staff at the Housing Authority of Grenada. They handled me real nice. They did my plan, they did the construction, and I didn't even have to worry about a thing. They were there with me every step of the way, supervising the job, asking me about my concerns, giving me feedback as the house took shape. They were there from start to finish, and even put the keys in the palm of my hand. I give them an A++ for customer service.
Oh, it's people from housing bad, boy.
Boy, not bad. Excellent. If you're thinking about constructing your home, why not consult the Housing Authority of Grenada? You could visit them right down in the Sandino complex, or give them a call, 440-1015 or 440-1016, or check out their website, hag473.com. They go handle you. They go jog your blocks, they go draw your plan, they go tote your materials. Hey man, where you going? The Housing Authority of Grenada is your choice for affordable housing and a stress-free construction experience.
An opportunity to generate jobs for hundreds of young people in Grenada is well on the way as work commenced on the Pearls Garment Factory in Pearls, St. Andrew. Minister with responsibility for youth development, Kate Lewis, recently paid a visit to the site as she anticipates the completion of the project. Rena Pierre tells us more.
The Pearls Community Center will soon be the home of Grenada's first garment production facility, as renovation on the building commenced 2 weeks ago and is expected to be completed by the end of March. On Friday, a team from the Division of Youth Development, led by Minister with responsibility for youth development, Kate Lewis, visited the site to get a first-hand experience on the project. She says the soon-to-be garment factory will help in transitioning young people who are CVQ certified into gainful employment.
The renovations and retrofitting of this community center here into the garment production factory is quite significant for us as a division of youth and also as a government, because this would be the first ever garment production factory
factory so incorporative for our youth as we transition them from the Imani program into something more sustainable.
Contractor for the project, Delon Williams, spoke of the scope of work to be done on the building.
It should take another 4 weeks for completion with the painting and tiling and other things. Then we had to do some repairs in the washroom. The ceiling kind of peeling off and we need to do some repairs there. We do some repairs in the kitchen. They had some broken tiles and we dig it up and plaster the floor and looking to put other tiles here. Then we got to do some painting.
Alva Renaud, project officer for Youth Biz at the Division of Youth Development, says the factory will be managed by using the cooperative business model.
The building will be housing the cooperative because we'll be using the cooperative business model. We'll be using the cooperative business model, and so the cooperative will be housing here at the community center. So currently what we are doing is the renovation and retrofitting of the area so we could get the machines in and have it fully equipped.
For GBN News, I am Rina Pear reporting.
Despite concerns of overexposure to the embankment in the Granatang area, the Ministry of Works is confident that their workforce is capable of doing the job well. While roving through the area on Saturday, GBN took an interest in work being undertaken in the area. Details in this report.
The Granatang Road may soon undergo some transformation. Presently, the Ministry of Works is involved in the preparation of the area through the cutting of trees overhanging the road, allowing for the surface to dry off before pavement. The Granatang Road has undergone serious deterioration in recent months and is badly in need of repair. The Ministry of Works has been given the green light by the Forestry Division of the Ministry of Agriculture to undertake the scope of work in the area. During the past 2 weeks, the Ministry of Works embarked on a scope of work that will see the trimming of overhanging trees and bushes, which they believe will aid the stability of the road surface. This spans from 1910 down to Black Forest. Busmen plying the Zone 6 route applauds the move as they look forward to better road conditions.
When they start trimming, that is a good sign. Because due to the overhang and the trees and stuff like that, the water settles in the road, so the road deteriorates very fast. So it's a good initiative which they take right now to cut the overhangs.
That's a very good thing they're doing because that will keep the road a little stronger for a little period of time. Because you need the sunlight, and you see more water the road get and it ain't getting dry up like the sunlight, it will be soft all the time. So it's a good thing they're doing. I appreciate it.
Peter Charles, the officer in charge of the Central Road Division, explains what is being done.
2 years we've been having serious complaints with the road, the asphalt road, and the overhanging trees. The overhanging trees, which is part of the problem with the condition of the existing motorable road. We have engaged in clearing, cutting, trimming, whichever word you want to use, of some of the overhanging trees. We're taking care to avoid that. So as I repeat myself again, we are just trying to do the trimming, just to let you know, the asphalt, the tar that we use to do the road, they are not compatible with water. So if the road don't remain dry, over time, the material would separate and you'll see the condition of the road deteriorating and makes all these potholes and rugged areas. So the more sunshine the road gets, the longer the surface area remains. So
the pruning is done mostly on weekends, he says. However, there are minor hiccups.
We would have recruited these gentlemen, and as you see, primarily on weekends, because we hope that there will be less traffic on the road on the weekend, so we can do more. But as you can see, as I was informed that you all passed Saturday, but you can see even then we're still having problems with the traffic. So it makes the work a little more tedious and slow, because every now and then we have to stop for traffic to give way to traffic and so forth. So this is hindering the timeline we had for it to complete. However, we have to work with everybody because we're trying to satisfy everybody and at the same time making the road safe.
Charles says the overhanging aspect of the work should be completed by the first week in March before the other phase of the work begins, which is the laying of asphalt. This, however, depends on the availability of the hot mix, he says. Chrislyn John, GBN News.
Stay with us. The weather and sports up next.
We support you at every stage of your life.
For business,
for your education,
for your financial freedom,
for that new ride.
Upgrade your life with the Communal. Contact us today.
Do you know what time it is? You guessed right, it's detox time again. At Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center and Natural Health Store. Purchase our 7-day cleansing pack for only $500. Includes everything you need for a complete total body cleanse. Cleanse your blood, kidney, liver, and colon. This cleanse will help you lighten up and get rid of the excess. Also available are our special product Detox Combo Pack for only $100. Try our single detox products starting from $40. Check us out now. Belmont St. George's, close to the Fall Edge area, or call us on 231-6642, 449-7753, or 418-7115. Nirvana Natural Health Clinic, Detox Center, and Natural Health Store. Detox, your way to health.
But you know, scholar, before you come up here, I sit down thinking, you know, and nowadays, you know, when man ain't feeling well, they're sick and they have something happened to them. When you go by a doctor, it's all kind of Dicillin and Dactylin, Penicillin and Maxillin, all kind of this kind of lean on them.
Nah, partner. Man, them have a piece of gas barrel. One piece of gas. So what you do? Man say you buy Pepto-Bismol, you buy Eno, you buy Andrew.
So why didn't
gas barrels?
So why didn't tell him take a dose of antibiotics?
So why you believe I tell him? I tell him man take a dose of antibiotics.
Well, the problems are.
The problems are.
I mean, those things work, and they worked well, you.
Very, very, very well.
They work well.
Those were the days. Join us
this Friday on We Culture to know more about Basilicum, Oltis, Antipa, RC Fecita.
Keeping an eye on the weather, this is GBN. We've got you covered.
Looking at the weather, tonight's minimum temperature is expected to be 24.5 degrees Celsius. Weather is expected to be generally fair and breezy, becoming partly cloudy at times with the isolated showers possible. Winds east-northeasterly to easterly at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Seas moderate to rough, waves 6 to 9 feet in northerly to northeasterly swells. A marine advisory remains in effect. Tides are high at 7 p.m. and low at 1:15 a.m. Looking ahead, Wednesday's weather is expected to be partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy and windy, with few brief to widely scattered showers, becoming generally fair during the afternoon. On Thursday, generally fair and windy, becoming partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy, with few brief to widely scattered early morning showers. On Friday, we're looking at partly cloudy to occasionally cloudy and windy, with few brief to widely scattered morning showers becoming generally fair during the afternoon. That's it for your weather forecast right here on GBN News. Cricket West Indies CWI today confirmed the all-format international tour between West Indies and Sri Lanka starts in March, signaling the return of international cricket to the Caribbean. The two teams will play 3 T20 internationals, 3 one-day internationals, and 2 test matches in a biosecure environment in Antigua from Wednesday, March 3rd to Friday, April 2nd. The T20I series will create history as the first official international matches to be played by the West Indies men's team at the Coolidge Cricket Ground in Antigua, and the first West Indies T20Is to be played in Antigua since 2013. As reigning ICC T20 World Cup champions, West Indies will use these matches as important preparation for the defense of their T20 World Cup title, which is scheduled to be held in India later this year. Jason Mohammed scored a timely 100 and Evan Lewis 61 as the Trinidad and Tobago Red Force battled to a 3-wicket win with 5 balls to spare over the Barbados Pride in the CG Insurance Super 50 tournament in Antigua. Chasing a relatively modest target of 254, Trinidad started out well despite losing the wicket of Otley for 4 in the second over of the innings. His dismissal brought Mohammed, who provided a well-needed backbone to the Trinidad lineup. He and Lewis put on 117 for the second wicket in 19 overs. When Lewis got out to Roston Chase for 61, Mohammed and Danish Ramdin added 29 over the next 8 overs as the bowling tightened. Then came the slide that saw Trinidad fall away from 150 for 2 to 158 for 5 as Ramdin fell for 10 and Kieran Pollard and Nicholas Puran went without scoring. However, Mohammed found a useful partner in Sunil Narain, who scored 18 in a partnership worth 49. Social media manager Brave Bison has announced a partnership with Hero Caribbean Premier League (CPL). Brave Bison has a global community of 158 million followers, generating billions of views each month. The partnership will see Brave Bison help lead the management of content, channels, rights, monetization, and audience development for the CPL across YouTube. Under the agreement, Hero CPL will join the already established community of leading sports organizations that Brave Bison manages across YouTube, including Australian Open, US Open, and PGA Tour. First started in 2013, the Hero Caribbean Premier League is a franchise-based T20 format cricket tournament that combines 2 of the most compelling aspects of Caribbean life: dramatic cricket and a vibrant carnival atmosphere. Such a great initiative there. That's it for sports. Coming up around the globe. Leader of the opposition in Guyana, Joseph Harmon, has labeled Budget 2021 as a plan on a path to nowhere. Wendell Badri has details in this report.
Notwithstanding the fact that it was presented under the theme, A Path to Recovery, Economic Dynamism and Resilience, opposition leader Joseph Harmon is positing that Budget 2021 is mired in confusion and outlines a vision on a path to nowhere. The opposition leader highlighted that the 2020 budget reflects real GDP growth by over some 40% under the previous administration. And on that note, he said that it appears as though the authors of the 2021 budget are seeking to take the nation on a backward trajectory.
The issue I have now is that we seem to be going back many years to dismantle a structure that has shown that it has the resilience to make Guyana a resilient economy that can grow, that people can feel comfortable in.
Harmon bashed the incumbent administration, labeling them as heartless as it relates to benefits to public servants in this year's budget.
The United Nations has warned the Myanmar military of severe consequences if it responds harshly to the protests that have taken place across the country following the February 1st coup, as the military leaders justified anew on Tuesday the seizure of power from civilian control. In an account of the meeting, Myanmar's army said So Win, the regime's second-in-command, had discussed the administration's plans and information on the true situation of what's happening in Myanmar. Despite the UN warning, the spokesman of the coup leaders later said the military's action to take over power was justified because fraud in a November election was not addressed, adding that it would hand back power after a new election. Al Jazeera's Scott Heidler reports.
Continuing their civil disobedience movement, anti-coup protesters in Yangon blocked train services out of Insen railway station, one of the city's largest. And east on the other end of the line in Molamyain, protesters there also did the same. In its first press conference since taking over, the military junta justified its actions, saying it was not a coup and that the protesters are inciting violence.
The NLD party had a chance to solve problems like election fraud peacefully according to the constitutional law, but they didn't take action. That's why we have no choice but to take power, and this is not a coup. We found out that the protesters are inciting the violence and illegally pressuring civil servants. The protesters have become violent rather than peaceful.
Elsewhere in Yangon, protesters laid down to look like they were resting, illustrating the point that tense nights are robbing them of sleep. This over concern of nighttime patrols and arrests. More than 400 people have been detained, according to a monitoring group. As the protesters ramp up pressure by strikes and rallies, some feel it might prompt a strong reaction from the military.
That's it for Around the Globe. Stay tuned for a recap of this evening's headlines. A recap of this evening's headlines. Economist shares grim projection on price increase for imported commodities due to COVID-19. Members of Parliament pay tribute to the life of Elvin Nimrod, with an emotional Prime Minister shedding a tear. Shark captured and killed on Dr. Groom's Beach in the south of mainland Grenada. We met with Rodel Paul, a young man from St. Patrick, creating a buzz with his magical stunts. In Around the Globe, the United Nations warns Myanmar military of severe consequences if it responds harshly to the protests. In sports, Sri Lanka's multi-format West Indies tour to begin on March 3rd. All 3 T20Is and 3 ODIs and 2 tests will be played in Antigua, while social media manager Brave Bison announced partnership with Hero Caribbean Premier League. If you missed any part of this newscast, a repeat of it will be broadcast at 10 o'clock tonight. Continue to follow us online at www.gbn.gd or on GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel for these and other top stories. I'm Chrislyn Lashington. That's the news. We'll see you again. Good night.